Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have audio on this? Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's Welcome to My World, the noon edition on the 20th of January. This is a Wednesday, and we certainly have had some activity in these markets, haven't we? My goodness, there's just trades. We're overrun with trades. A lot of people are posting their charts, and that is the very best thing to do is to post your charts and get feedback, especially if you're unsure. If you see something and you're thinking, "Gee, I don't know if that's right," um, just shoot it into the room and ask people, because there are people in the room that are seeing the same thing you are, and they may or may not have taken that trade for reasons they can tell you. It really helps develop your eye, because that's what this is all about, is developing your eye for those entries. So far, we have had markets go down, and then we've had them go up, and now they're trying to decide what they want to do for the afternoon. Gold has had a significant uh, upward trend. The last little bit, it's been a little more difficult to trade, but that's typical of gold after about 10 o'clock, at least for me, it is. And crude oil is down and down and down, and its friend Brent is doing this very same thing. If you are paying attention to the correlation between the VIX and these indices, we've got the VIX trading right now at 2968, and that is the high it has been for some time. That's an indication of us being clearly in a bear market. And can it go higher? Yes, it can, and it may. Can these indices go lower? Yes, absolutely they can, and they may. Today, who knows? We've had a lot of questions, and people seem to have an interest in how to correlate the currencies to the various markets. Commodities tend to have a correlation currency. For crude oil, it's the Canadian dollar. For gold, it's the Aussie dollar. And if you have these charts that you are trading, for instance, with spreads, and you're trying to watch to see what the correlation between the two are, you need to be using the futures, because the underlying market for those Nadex contracts is the futures. So if your charts are consistently the futures, then you've got the correlation, and that would be the 6C and the 6A. The euro, which is the 6E, correlates with the US dollar, and the future for that is DX. And they don't trade together, they trade opposite. The other two tend to run together. So if that helps, or if there's any questions about it, don't hesitate to type those in. We'll try to get them addressed. We also had some questions about various contracts, charts not loading because the person didn't realize they were not on the correct monthly contract. The US indices and the currency futures all change contracts 4 times a year, so it's a quarterly change. Gold and crude oil are a little different. Gold operates on its own system for rolling those contracts. Crude oil, it's once a month. You can find the information for all this on the CME website, on the Nadex website if you're trading Nadex. Their contracts roll a little bit earlier than the futures do. So I know at first this is a little confusing and all overwhelming, but just stay with it. It'll come together for you. We're all in this together, and everybody's in this room to help other people. This is traders helping traders, so don't forget that. That's the whole focus of this. Let's see. Tomorrow we have we got a little off, and that was partly my fault because I was going off of Forex Factory this morning for the crude oil inventory, and I typically, when there is a holiday on a Monday, crude oil inventory is postponed until Thursday, which is turned out to be the case. So we'll have that tomorrow. At 8:30 tomorrow morning, there is Philly Fed and the unemployment numbers are coming out, and they can move the market. So be very cautious about jumping into a trade 2 minutes before the stroke of 8:30 tomorrow. We're seeing lots and lots of downward push on these markets. So trade what you see. I think people are using the iZone, the IZSS charts, and really learning to trail your stops. You don't necessarily have to have your trailing stop set on autopilot. However, NinjaTrader has some great videos to show you how to set those up. I believe there are some on the Apex website as well. But there is a way in the chart trader, or if you use the DOM, to put your trailing stop to an automatic thing so it will take care of itself. I personally do not like that, and I don't use it. I prefer to have my trades up on my chart in front of me, and I go in with an automatic stop loss and take profit, but I adjust those on the chart because of the Apex indicators. So I'm looking for major streets or certain things that I want to see. For me, that's easier. You may have a different idea. I had another question this morning. I thought I might take a minute right here since it's noontime about in the morning before I start to trade, how do you get yourself emotionally prepared to trade? And that is a really good question. Somebody could write a book about it. But the very best book for that is Trading in the Zone. And we have a lot of reference material to that. There's somebody put a YouTube video of an interview for the author of Trading in the Zone, and they say it's just excellent material. So these are kind of weekend things or afternoon when you've made your goal and you're not going to trade anymore for the day, then put your mouse away so you cannot touch it and then do something else. And that is a great place to get your emotional mental state. So I have some suggestions. I try to follow them myself. I try to be a very organized person. I want everything I don't want any stuff and garbage and the phone ringing and the house burning down and all this other bunch of stuff and then try to trade in that. It won't work for me. It may work. Some people love chaos. They just love it. And it makes me insane. I cannot have chaos and get anything accomplished. So if I've had a technical problem in the morning or my charts won't load or something, the data feed doesn't work or whatever it is that kind of, it's like, oh, good grief. Take a deep breath and realize that the buses are going to run all day. I sit, therefore I trade is a big, big mistake. Get everything all set the way you want it for your time frame, and then sit back, get a big picture of what's going on, and get yourself in an emotional state. Get yourself in trading in the zone where you can focus on what you're going to be trading and have that feel really calm about it. If you get this butterfly thing and stage fright thing and oh good grief and just take a breath and sit back and wait until you can collect your thoughts and get yourself in a real calm. You know exactly where those entries are. They're going to show up. They either show up or they don't. And when they do, that's when you take the trade. The rest of the time, just sit back and observe. What I find a lot of people do is they get their nose pasted to that monitor, and pretty soon you lose sight of the whole thing. It's the forest and the trees. So try to keep yourself, and if you find that you are making the same mistake over and over again, remember, you're running your own business here, and your job is to run a profitable business. You're the CEO, the COO, the CFO, and the janitor. So if you're making that same mistakes over and over and you want to break yourself of that, take a notebook and sit down and write a positive affirmation 20 times. I will only take ease, slings, and whatever your thing is that you're doing, write that 20 times and then put it away, walk away, done. It will start to change your mentality so you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over again. That's about all I can think of. But if I cannot trade when the phone's ringing and all this stuff is happening, just you have to have focus to do this. And the good news is you don't have to have it for very long. An hour, 2 hours should be enough to make a pretty good living. If you are able to focus longer or take a break, come back to it, fine. Pay very close attention to your time of day. What time of day are you trading what market? I have seen people come in here and they already have a trading plan and they are going to take a long position on crude oil today. And I'm like, well, good luck with that. There's a lot of red E's. It's below settlement. 30-minute candles look kind of like they do today. I guess I just don't get that. But what they will do is attempt to do that because they already they had their mind made up when they sat down. Don't go there. Will not work out well for you. So you trade what you see. The trade's either there or it's not. And if you have your rules written down, and make yourself a note, keep it right in front of you about peeing. You have got to pee. We all do. You get picky about those entries. Stay patient with your management if you want to get paid, which comes from running a profitable business. Those are real important things to keep in mind. Picky, patient, and paid. So I hope that helps. I'm not sure what's going to happen with these markets, but going into the close, we may see some activity. Right now, it's a lot of little choppy stuff because it's lunchtime in New York. And the underlying stocks the volume has come off of them a little bit. So I hope that helps. And I will see you all tomorrow morning about 8:30. We'll see what the day sets up for us. This has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you in the morning.